And I think that was always the share links. You have what screen? You have to like going from like this to another screen. If you do intro, you break up all the tabs and then you can shift through money. Yes. Last weekend was so good. When I see those slides there for us. Well, I'm sure what Mary had. She made an introduction slide. Oh, and from the introduction slide on here, then the first slide on here will be the logo. Oh, he's over there. In my neighborhood. Yeah. Good to see you. Talk to you. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the July 24th meeting of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. It's great to see so many Rotarians, guests, great group. Hello, everybody on Zoom, Rotarians, and guests on Zoom. Welcome. As always, please check out our social media pages. Raleigh Rotarian Leslie Oliver has agreed to help us out with social media. So y'all who are fantastic at taking pictures, I'll link all of you guys together to send for pictures from our meetings and other social activities. So friend us on our socials, follow us, like our posts, and spread the word about awesome things that we do. Before we get started with our business meeting, the wonderful Tommy Helliver can come up and do the invocation and pledge.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy to have you here today. Good to see everyone. Back your heads for doing invitation. We'll follow that our Father, thank you for today for gathering this group of Rotarians together. I pray specifically for those among us who might be traveling, enjoying family time, and trying to rejuvenate and rekindle their family relationships during the summer. That all of them are spending their time wisely. Thank you for those that have gathered here together today. We ask that you would bless our speaker, our club member James, who's going to talk to us about an extremely moving topic. Just thank you that's part of the cards for this today's crew. Thank you for our food, time together, and for our fellowship.
I believe this to the flag of the United States of America. To the republic one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. God bless America. Land. Wonderful God bless America. Our home, sweet home. Hi, our King.
And we have a fantastic group of guests in-house today at Tobacco Road. And I also believe we have a few guests on Zoom. So what I'm gonna do, just because this is a nice, wonderful big room, I'm gonna pass around the microphone, and I'm starting with y'all's table, Harrison, John, Luke, and Jen. I know y'all have a few guests. So when the mic comes to you, if you don't mind passing this around and introduce yourself.
All right, hey everyone, my name is Howard too. I work with people. I just wanted to come out today and learn a little bit more about you guys' tractor and really just make some cool connections and pros. Thanks, sorry, how's that new traffic?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rory. I'm a pastorate area in London. I've been living in the US now for nearly 8 years. And it's a pleasure to be here. Eric and John Luke have been very kind in convincing me to come for several months now. Thank you for doing so.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Cindy Farmer. I'm a commercial relationship manager for Encore Bank. Don't surprise me, haven't heard of the bank. It's a fairly new bank. And I've been in the banking industry 17 years, and I've heard really good things about the Rotary. So I definitely wanted to be a part of it. So thank you so much for the warm welcome today, and I look forward to all the great things that the Rotary is doing and being a part of it. Hi, I'm Vera with Digital. We are a service provider, which is IT. And the name is Tudor because we were two Marines, and that's why I don't move a lot.
How you doing, everyone? My name is Michael Brennan. Invited here by Charlie Shaw. Charlie actually invited me to a couple of these meetings a few years ago. Like what you guys know, but unfortunately, my previous job, I had a ton of travel that I had to do, so I wasn't really able to afford the time. I switched gears and actually joined Charlie's firm and capital investment companies. I made the transition from being a fund rep to now using funds as an advisor. So I wanted to kind of get in touch with him again. And now that I have time and availability, see what you guys are all about. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lynn Sears. I was born and raised here in Raleigh. I'm a guest of James. I'm looking forward to hearing a gift of life today. And I'm a commercial construction company here in Raleigh. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you all for introducing ourselves. Do we have any guests on Zoom that would like to introduce themselves? We have not tried this yet. Let's see anybody. Okay, well, welcome everybody on Zoom. Thank you for joining. The Dementia Alliance of North Carolina Happy Dollars, red buckets on the table, any spare change, dollar bills, whatever you have, whatever you have, drop that in there and all the funds stay local and benefit the Dementia Alliance of North Carolina. Happy dollar time, Mr. Charlie Upshaw. Got anybody who's happy this week?
I'm happy. Going to England on a quilt tour. I should do something. I'm so excited to go on a quilt tour. England with my wife. 10 days. And I'm gonna meet our son who's coming from Germany. I'm happy for that, at least a dollar.
Cindy.
Good afternoon. I am having a school supply drive. So this is going to fill book bags that go to the kids that are in the guardian ad litem system, which is the court system. And a lot of these kids don't have school supplies at the beginning of the year. Some of the letters are incredibly moving that come from my grandmother's working with their kids. And even one lady said she was so inspired when she got her bag that she's going to be a doctor. So I'm going to do the drive up until August 11th. And I'm getting either going to have a box out from office, 7-Eleven television, having to pick them up here. I'm having to travel to the book. So I appreciate it.
For you. Oh, how about some? You're my chair, your weapons. You're 109. What else? Thank you, President.
Thank you, Charlie. Cindy, so they can just email you or meet you at a meeting with some of the supplies, is that right? Great, and we did this last year, right? Yes. Yeah, okay, and the Guardian Ad Litem, I mean, that's a wonderful program for children in foster homes and trying to be reunited with their families, so a lot of these kids don't have a lot, like Cindy just said. Rotary trivia time. I don't know if y'all saw on the way in this week's Rotary trivia. I put 4 famous gentlemen on the board or up on the screen, and the question was, who of these individuals were Rotarians? And they are FDR, Neil Armstrong, Walt Disney, and Orville Wright. Does anybody have a guess? Answer? All of them? You guys know your Rotary. That's exactly right. I was mostly amazed by Orville Wright. And another thing that was really, really interesting was FDR was not the only U.S. president who was a Rotarian. There have been many U.S. presidents who were Rotarians. So Neil Armstrong was in the Wapakoneta, Ohio Rotary Club, FDR, Albany, New York, and Walt Disney, Palm Springs, and Orville Wright, Dayton, Ohio. I was a little bit offended that he was not in the North Carolina club, but Kurt probably likes that vibe. Wapakoneta, okay. Wapakoneta, thank you, Kurt. Okay, upcoming meeting. Next week we have Michael Bussell from NC State. He's going to talk to us about Global Training Initiative, NC State's Global Training Initiative. That'll be a fantastic presentation. And then we have Amy Franceschi, who is going to speak about her company, Greatest Story Creative. And she's going to tell us how storytelling can be very useful in the marketing and PR campaigns within your company. And no meeting for August 14th. That's a lot of weeks. Schools are going back into session, so we got that week off. And then we've got a really special guest on August 24th, Elizabeth Gardner, VP David Forrest from WREL. So she's going to talk to us about all things weather in North Carolina, and also David, what's it? It's the Whitewater Park that she's a big influencer of and a big component of. So super great meetings coming up. Please plan to attend. Join on Zoom if you can't be in person. Upcoming district events this evening, and there's still time to register for this, is the public image webinar, and that's going to be from 6 to 7 p.m. You can register at elevaterotary.org. And if you are interested in PR and learning more about how Rotary spreads the word about wonderful things that we do, please consider joining. As a note about our club, we are looking to beef up the PR committee within the club. So looking for some people to help out with the bulletin, the website, etc. Got a great webmaster, Duncan Jennings, who's updates our website. Leslie Oliver has come forward to help with social media, but we still need some people to help. So think about joining and learning about Rotary branding and other PR things. Then there is a district council meeting on Monday, August 7th from about 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. That is at the Morrisville Chamber of Commerce, and the address is up there. It was also in the bulletin. These district events, I highly recommend if you have not been to one before to go to them. You learn a lot about Rotary. The district is structured a lot like our club is. They have different chairs, foundation chair, membership chair. It's just a great way to meet other Rotarians in the district and learn more about the Rotary International. So all are welcome to attend, and I highly recommend that. Other Rotary things. So this weekend, and I love getting these in the mail. Who all got your Rotary magazine? Yeah. This is just packed full of wonderful information. Something that Kathy Rooney told me about and the other day is the Rotary blog. It's called Rotary Voices, and I have the URL up there. If you go to that URL, you can read about all types of projects that Rotarians across the globe have done. So you can go and see some of the things that the other 1.4 million members of Rotary International have completed. Another thing, and it's on this blue page in the magazine, if you go and flip years ago, is Rotary Voices podcast. And I've listened to a few of those, and they were fascinating. Again, stories from all over the world. There's a QR code that I took a picture of from here, and it worked on my phone. But if you don't scan that one, open the Rotary magazine and look for that. And a great way to just learn more about Rotary and the wonderful projects we're doing. But then one more thing, we don't have a foundation presentation last week. If you remember, we're on the PHF +5 last week, and that's for donations to the Rotary International Foundation. And I thought this was really neat. It's an advertisement or promotion of the foundation. In the middle of the magazine, it shows a picture of one of the projects, international projects, and these are beekeepers right here. I just started beekeeping this year, so I thought it was so cool that these projects are so unique and diverse. So definitely check this out, learn more about what we're doing across the globe and how the good work the foundation does. Nosy neighbor time, Mr. Tommy Packer, and not Tom Packer, Tommy Kohler.
Those of you that don't know, there are small differences between Tom Packer and I. Different folks. That's all. She brought me midnight, I apologize. I'm getting my swallows. But today, for Nosy Neighborhood, we thought it would be really cool and particularly on point to talk with James LaMantia. James is our featured presenter today, but also we're going to drag him up and ask him a couple questions about his life so we can get to know a little bit about the guy who's about to present stuff. So there we are. James, come on in.
Hello, everyone.
I've got some questions here for James. Hang on one second. I saved them so I wouldn't forget it. So, James, to start off, why don't you tell us a little bit about the art business, how you got into this, and where you shop is, things like that.
Sure thing. I've actually been last because when I was 9 years old, I told my mother I wanted to be an art gallery. And there are not too many 9-year-old kids that know what they want to do, and that's been my whole life. So I grew up in New York, like the Talking Heads songs. I've lived in the ghettos. I've lived in all of that. I've lived everywhere. From Manhattan to the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens. I remember once I lived down on Mott Street, which is just south of Houston, an old walk-up building, and came home one day, and my neighbor's tub upstairs was in my tub, and I figured it was time to move out, and I ended up moving out of there. But I went to art school, graduated, had some great exhibitions right out of the gate. When I was a kid, basically at 21, and people were shocked to see me, like, what are you doing here? I'm like, that's my art. And but I was managing a gallery in Madison Avenue for 5 years, and when I was 26, I opened my first gallery, which was 34 years ago. So we're in New York on North Shore, Long Island, that same location. We're here in Raleigh. And we have a partner down in Sarasota, Florida, and another gallery, and we're about to open a new gallery that we just purchased a property in Sarasota, and that's opening next. Yeah.
Also, didn't know any of that. That's why we do this. All right, how about, so you were in New York, lots of roots there. How did you transition here? How did that happen?
Great question. Well, my son at the time, he was 13, and my ex-wife, we rented a house for them in Huntington, and they lost the rental. And it was, well, what can we get a $700,000, let's say, mortgage on? We think the real estate market is hot here in Raleigh. Well, when you look at what $700,000 mortgage and $20,000 real estate tax got you on Long Island, we thought it was maybe time to move off the island. So our best friends moved to Wake Forest about 2 years prior. So we bought a house in Wake Forest, and my son is maybe under a mile to his best friend growing up. They got a great home. So he has the benefit of the suburbs. I live a few blocks from here because I need to have cement buildings around me. So so he gets the best of both worlds.
No, I can see why you do that. A lot of people compare Raleigh to New York City all the time. Almost. How about for yourself, any notable, because you've been in Rotary a lot more than just this club, you were in Rotary out there too. Any notable
Funny story, I do. I was in El Salvador on a mission probably about 6 years ago, and at the time, San Salvador was considered one of the most dangerous places in the world. And I'm running, so I always love to run. If I ever go on a mission, I run, and they did not let me leave the compound without guard. So I learned if I could run from one end of the compound to the other and back, it's a mile. So at the time, I was doing 10-minute miles, like that respectable. But I'm not a good follower of rules, so I started going outside of the compound from the city, and my time dropped down to 7-minute miles. Which shows you how good fear in your life will affect your running. And that was thank you.
guys, if you're interested in art, Rotary, or you need to learn about urgency, please see James.
Thank you, James, and Tommy, not Tom. James, true Renaissance man, artist. You've been to his gallery. You'll see paints across the wall, and he sells some of his paintings. He does some of his paintings. Business owner and runner and community server. So thank you, James, for coming up. Up next, I believe it's a raffle time. I don't know, Chase or Tommy.
Yeah, Chase is going to be on.
Awesome, great.
Okay, right, this raffle. To go on where? Yes.
I need the mic, Tommy. You want to draw this thing?
Yeah.
And leave the mic. Tommy has not been involved in this drawing, so don't worry, it's not rigged. Charlie doesn't have any money, doesn't post it or anything. That's go ahead and do this. Okay, lucky winner is 800-2156. 800-2156. Check your numbers. There he is, winner.
Thank you, Chase. Thanks. service update. I didn't see Richard, oh, there he is.
Good afternoon, how's everybody today? So in August, we had two service projects. You can use your brain and your brawn. So the first one, August 1st and 3rd, thanks to Sarah Reeves, we can go to Biggs Park and participate in they looking for some input and feedback in the Biggs Park Observatory. And it's a workshop on August 1st and 3rd, I think it's 6 to 8 o'clock. And Sarah signed us up for us, and gave us an opportunity, and we'd love for our Rotarians to be involved with this. I always think that Sarah is kind of the tether to Biggs Park, so our club has a history of this, so I encourage you to participate in this. You can email her. Her email is on the newsletter, or of course, find out more information. You can also mention the website. And our other event is our stream cleanup. It's August 19th, Saturday, 9 to noon. Again, this is a very impactful event, and we'll start at 9 sharp. We've done before it gets really hot, and as you can see, we make quite an impact. It's a family-friendly event. Spouses, significant others, children, and we'll supply the bags and the grabbers and the gloves and homeless needs a few hours of your time to make an impact and clean the street there. And again, if you recall, this is a street we have adopted with Star Club. This is we do this twice a year. So check out the newsletter went out, sign up the link, and we're looking for about 20 Rotarians, and we would love to have a showing of representation at the Biggs Park as well. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Richard. Excited to have two projects in August, plus our social project, which we'll talk about in a minute. Thanks, Richard, for your leadership and getting us started off with a bang in the 2023 through 2024 Rotary year. Next up is membership.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you. My name is Eric Turner. I'm the head of our membership for the Rotary Club of Raleigh. To all of our guests, thank you so much for being here today. I truly hope that you see just small tidbits of ways that we are impacting our community for good here. And we hope that you find this to be something that you can get involved with. We're always looking for more people that are interested in making impact in the community, loving the community as well. There's a lot of work that us as Rotarians we can do. We need more people. So with that being in mind, Cindy, if you would please join me up front. We have the opportunity today of doing a second reading for Cindy. Oh, good. So okay. So if you haven't had an opportunity to meet with her, looking forward to all of us as Rotary Group getting to know Cindy a little bit more. Cindy Farnell is sponsored by our very own Linda, and as she mentioned today, she is Senior Vice President and Commercial Relationship Manager for Encore Bank. Cindy, one of the things that we love to do is, what is your why? What excites you? Why Rotary?
Well, good afternoon once again, everybody. Thank you again for having me. It's a warm welcome here with the Rotary members. It's really nice mingling and getting to know those of you who I did have an opportunity to talk to. And I guess as we attend more events, I'd love to meet more and more members. They already gave a background of me. Again, as a former relationship manager, commercial relationship manager for Bank. I was asked to about why I wanted to be a member of the Rotary. So a few reasons, and I'll knock out the first obvious one first, which is networking and business development. I'm a commercial relationship manager, and though I've been in the banking industry for 17 years, I'm new to the role as a commercial relationship manager. So this would be a great opportunity to meet like-minded individuals, professionals, grow relationships, and strengthen existing ones. So that's the obvious one, I would say. Second, which is I think the most important one for me, is growing up, I was raised by a single mom. My dad passed away when I was very young, and I was the oldest of three siblings. My younger siblings were 5 and 2 months, 5 years old, 2 months. I was 8. My mom was a housewife, so, and I never worked a day in her life. So when that happened, all of a sudden, we were financially strained. And so a lot of the nonprofits and, these events, the school bag initiative was just mentioned, a lot of these nonprofits that are really first, but I've been on the receiving end of them. So I understand the importance of doing these things and the appreciation that the person in need goes through when receiving aid of any kind, whether it's in the form of community service or financial aid or whatnot. And now that I'm in a place, let's say financially, emotionally, whatnot, if I can be any part of giving back to the community, I'd absolutely love to do that. And lastly, just to represent minority and an Asian female minority at that. So to have a seat at the table and have my be heard and heard, I think that would be just really great. So thanks so much again for giving me the opportunity and giving me the platform to again have my voice heard and be a part of the membership. I'm looking forward to being actively involved and doing all the great things that I've heard that the Rotary does. Thank you.
You have to talk to me, please speak with her after the meeting, and she could not have said it better. A lot of the things that we do on a daily basis here with Rotary, points of service, we're going out to parks and cleaning, they can just seem like things that we're adding to our calendar, but the impact that we're making, the seeds that we're planting, maybe years from now, we will have people who are standing up behind this podium saying, man, what Rotary did for me and my family. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for this. Last thing I want to talk about real quick is our service social, which is coming up this Wednesday, July 26th, 5:30 to 7:30, 5:30 to 7, and it's going to be here. We've got they're going to hold a couple tables for us. We're going to support our guests, or excuse me, our hosts well. And to speak a little bit about what we're doing, I want Chase to come up. We talked about it a little bit last week, but Chase, come on.
Hey everybody, real quick, so this is a need in the community that I found out about recently in the last month or so. And so I was tapped doing some of my business connections in the community, and I thought to myself, hey, what better place than to ask Rotary and how this could be a great fit. So what we're doing is it's a conglomerate of folks that are kind of partnering together, kind of being headed up by my church. That is trying to get its food backpack buddies, but the focus is on the children in the Wake County school system that are in the foster care program. And so I don't know how much everybody knows about that, but in the foster care system, right, sometimes children in the middle of the night have 5 minutes, 10 minutes to pack their things and are ushered off to the next foster care facility or the family, whatever it might be. And so what we're trying to do is provide every single child over 500 book packs. We're trying to provide for the foster care children in the Wake County public school system. That way, if something like that were to happen and they're ushered off, they can be handed a brand new book bag, everything that they need to do their school. As we know, education is fundamental to the success of our youth. And so each thing that you can see is we're focused on high school, middle school, and elementary. And really for you all, don't worry so much about that. Just bring what you have. You got a couple extra, things and pencils or highlighters or pens laying around, or you're walking through the street and you see there's a great deal on one of these things, you buy the bag. Just do it, okay? Just get what you can get. Don't worry about the whole, book bag. What I'm planning on doing is I was able to receive some monetary donations from some folks, and I'm going to fill in what we're missing and form the book bags, right? And so another thing too is if you don't have time for the next 2 days to run to the Dollar Tree to grab some supplies, and you want to just provide a monetary donation, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to shop for on your behalf. So that's another thing to mention. But if you have any of these type of things that are laying around that are gently used, or perhaps brands making new, love to collect as much of those and support the youth in the Wake County area. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chase. If people are not able to come to the service social, can they bring them to a meeting coming up? If they can't bring things to the service social, yeah, okay, great, so. Yeah, so 2 great causes to bring school supplies, wonderful. And Cindy, thank you so much for coming up and telling about your desire to join Rotary. Great to get your application. Right, birthdays, Bill Roar, I saw him coming in, there he is, happy birthday, the 28th, coming up. And I think that's only birthday up there, and then anniversary, John and Michelle, I did that last week. So once they need to not put anything that I've done, thank you. John and Michelle, Canal, is their anniversary is this week. All right. James LaMantia, he is our guest of honor, or not guest, Rotarian of honor today. He came up and did his paper, and he is going to be presenting to us today. His title of his presentation is Healing Little Hearts Around the World. He's going to speak about Gift of Life International, an organization of which he is vice president. So as he makes his way up here, I wanted to read a brief biography of James. James LaMantia has been a Rotarian for 20 years. He has been a club president twice and on the board of directors with Gift of Life International for 15 years. He currently serves as vice president of the organization and plans to move to be president at the beginning of the next Rotary year. He has traveled extensively throughout Central America and likes to refer to himself as a fine art dealer who does heart surgery on the side. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. James LaMantia to the podium.
There it is. We can get our logo up there. Just first, before I get started, a little disclaimer for people specifically on Zoom. When I usually do presentations, because of my energy, I walk around the room. I like to approach different tables. Because I'm Italian, I tend to talk with my hands a lot. So I'm going to do my best, because I'm usually on this Zoom, to stay put so that you all can hear me clearly. You do the next slide, please. The slide that you're looking at is from 1975. Just imagine there are a group of Rotarians having lunch like we're doing today. 1975, having lunch, when the gentleman on the right, named Robbie Donko, learns about a little girl in Uganda that needs heart surgery, that she has an issue with her heart, that if she doesn't get this healed, she will not grow up to be a teenager. So like what all of us Rotarians do, we found a need, he rallied the troops, and he actually raised enough money to bring Grace Water over, and that's her father there, from Uganda, do the surgery, and not realizing that it was going to be 48 years later. 48 years later, that the group was still going strong, and that we would save the lives of over 46,000 kids since that one day in Manhasset, Long Island. Years ago, when we started the program, we used to bring children to the States for their procedure. And as I get a little further on, I'll tell you how we tweak that to make it even more efficient. Go to the next slide. Also, we started gaining notoriety, and in 1983, the Reagans went to Seoul, Korea, and brought Brett Halverson for his surgery. Now, can you imagine being a 5-year-old kid growing up in Korea and being told that the president and first lady of the United States will pick you up tomorrow for heart surgery? That really was great momentum for our program. And Brett and Grace are actually good friends of mine. And seeing them today, Brett now has a child of his own. Grace has gone on to do amazing things. But this was a big deal. In fact, I can tell you personally, I spoke with Brett a few years back when he went to the Reagan Library, and they have Air Force One there. And when you first walk into Air Force One, it's a photo of them greeting Brett. And he did the photo of him 5, and I guess at the time he was maybe 30 something, was incredible. So what is Gift of Life International? Every year in this world, 1.3 million kids are born with some form of congenital heart disease, and 93% of them are born in a country that just cannot provide the care that they need. So Gift of Life International currently is working with 84 different programs around the world. And great stat, every 2 hours and 18 minutes, a child is getting a life-saving procedure to give their life. So from the time they had gotten here for lunch, at our meeting, gone home, a child was taken care of somewhere in the world by us. If we could do the next slide, please. So I had firsthand experience when I talk about kids being born in a country that could do nothing about it. This photo is right before COVID, and we see a technician working an echocardial machine and looking at a child's heart. And the gentleman with his hands to his mouth is the head of cardiology in San Pedro Sul in the hospital there. I think it was called the Social Security Hospital in San Pedro. And they're screening children, which is what we do when we commission. We'll maybe do 26 surgeries, but we'll screen 100 children in the future. The need is great. But they both agreed in this slide, okay, this is the condition, this is the issue with this child. What do you do about it? And that doctor, right after he had his hand on his chin, he put his arms down and shrugged his shoulders and basically said nothing. So it's amazing to be the parent, or I believe this woman just to the right, seeing your head of cardiology saying your child has an issue and there's nothing that we can do about it. That hit home for me. So when I talk about her, you'll see in videos, this is what we do. That was first-hand experience of why we need to do what we do for Gift of Life International. We have a first video that I'd like to share with you. It's about a 2-minute video, but it will also give you an overview of what we do when you see some of the children.
He might like this one, just providing, yeah, part of here.
And it worked. I mean, practiced there. Let's try.
If I'd like this, I'll just go down to yeah, part here. But yeah, care.
We can,
And if it doesn't work, I can fill them out. It's not going to be trusting.
Since 1975, over 46,000 children have been treated from 80 countries across 5 markets. So every 2 hours, 18 minutes, a child in Turkey is treated through our local network. Over 1.3 million children are born each year with infectious disease, and 93% of them are born in the other governments, we are working to address the crisis of genetic disease. It would require companies which develops and treated more than 500,000 children have been on screen, and currently 1,000 children receive monthly penicillin injections to treat and prevent. I think it focuses on the development of sustainable in the environment. To treat children and have for us to take a approach, we have created sustainable pediatric care centers in our legacy programs located in Rwanda, Australia, and Canada. Our programs in these countries are able to provide 40 years to children and women on a lifelong sustainable basis. We continue to work to reach sustainability in our core programs to facilitate the international technology. Countries considered for these programs must meet our criteria for core programs. Over 9,600 children who are in the PN program in 2009 when the strategy was created. We have 2,100 our local efforts since 1975. Countries of focus demonstrated I think this is a big strategy and that's maximum working. Other countries are since the 84 affiliated programs around the world. It is only through the strength of our local we are using
Our sincere thanks for your partnership and support. Please consider how to continue doing whatever it takes to your heart for the best in need.
Thank you. I can tell you that every month we still get letters, photos from parents around the world saying, "Look at my child today." It's incredible. I mean, I've seen kids, because I've been to so many heart surgeries. I've seen kids when they were 2 months old having their surgery, or now starting elementary school. And parents update us, they love, look, so and so is playing piano now. So it's so moving. And as I mentioned earlier, they go on to do great things. Grace Agora, the first child, she speaks at the UN every year. Brett Halverson, who over on Air Force One, he created Hip to Life Korea. So we see this, people just they naturally want to give back. What's really cool about our program, I was a statistic before I came today, because I was curious. Just what do you think for a non-for-profit? What is a good administrative rating for a non-for-profit? In terms of, you have your budget, is it 50%, 80%, 10%? If for a non-for-profit, you're considered a good non-for-profit if your administration costs are between 15 and 25%, which to me is mind-boggling. Because we grew out of Rotary, our administration costs are below 4%. So I think about that, below 4%, that we just got our updated Charity Navigator rating of 100%. And a 4-star rating because of that. It's unheard of. And then again, that's because it really is Rotary based. I'd like to just show you a little PDF, if we could just scroll through before I finish up with the last video. This just gives you a sense of where we are this June. And you can see the numbers. These are global grants that we're working on, screenings that are going on, all of these countries. It's mind-boggling, and if you could just scroll up, maybe all the way to the bottom there, you'll see where we are. We're looking at raising so far $5 million from 30 different countries. The average cost of a procedure right now, catheterization, is just about $900. Think about that. So years ago, when we used to bring all the children here, it would be between $3,000 and $5,000. But because we've gotten so good at what we do, it's because we're sending teams over there, teams from Duke, teams from Albany, Tennessee, doctors, nurses that go over there, volunteer their time, again, keeping us below 4%. It's amazing. And so that's why we're able to do things so inexpensive. So our request this year is to hit 50,000 children. That is our goal, to save the lives of 50,000 children. We're right now just under 47,000. So by the end of the Rotary year, we will accomplish that. And how do we do this? It's because of our CEO, who's a dear friend of mine. He's been with the program for 15 years, maybe 16 at this point. Robert Railman, and we have a little video that he just took. If we could show that second video. This is how we're able to do what we do.
this book, my assistant journey to 7 countries and 13 years in treatment partners around the world, be in Bolivia, Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, Philippines. Everybody is focused on helping that next child and doing whatever it takes to help every child out there with heart disease. It's been a great journey. I look forward to more of this in the future. But it was clear that it's really strong and really focused and doing whatever it takes to heal everyone.
So I'm going to finish up. I often have a photo that I show, and I chose not to show it today, and I think it might be because I'm a little more emotional than normal today, but I was in Haiti a number of years back, and it was a great mission. We screened 100+ kids, did 20 surgeries, and I was about to board the plane, and I took a photo of a little girl that was getting her heart screened by the cardiologist, and she may have been 5 years old or so, and I took the photo, and her eyes were beautiful, this precious little child, and then the doctor turned to me and said, she's not a candidate for surgery, her heart's too far. And I think of this little girl every single day, and that's what motivates me to do what I do. People will say, how can a 5-year-old's heart be that far gone? It's because when you're living in some of the countries that we go to, you're not growing, you're not putting on weight, you may be a little bit thinner or lethargic. Unfortunately, you're like a lot of other kids. And here, something like that happens and you get attention by a neighbor or by somebody. So that's why Gift of Life International is so important to me. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask the club to consider sponsoring a child or two, or mission. Anything that you all can do would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, I think we have a few minutes for some questions. Are you okay answering them? Okay.
Chip, you go to these different countries, how do you identify that the kids that get screened, are they already having emotional issues? And at what age are they normally kind of too far to be helped?
Well, great question. We actually, part of the first video, we talked about certain criteria for us to be in a location, and it's that we have a local team on the ground that can identify the kids, so they know when we're coming. They'll say Gift of Life International is coming. Kids will be there for us. I can tell you, we screen children in utero in El Salvador. That team it was a legacy program. They do all their own surgeries. We train them. They were remarkable. They track the kids in utero. So I was in El Salvador and told them the story about running fast. They did surgery on a child that was a month old, and I was standing next to her with this little heart of a month-old child because they knew she had a tear in her heart and needed to be repaired immediately. So it's two things. One, we have people on the ground that set up the screenings for us, and then really gauge. I would say if you're not recognized by a teenager, if you then get diagnosed, your chances of survival are slim, which is why it's so important to get there as early as possible. Well, a catheterization can be anywhere from $900 in average. I like to say, I say it's about $1,500 per child, and you know you may do 3,000, get a couple of catheterizations and surgery, but it's right at $900 is catheterization right now. But I like to round up. Yes.
Possible for children of uninsured parents in the United States to be eligible?
Parents in the United States. We've never done surgery for a child in the United States because I can't tell of any child in the United States that needed the surgery or needed a procedure that hasn't gotten done. And that gets back to the point that people know early on here if there's an issue. I can tell you too another statistic, and I'm going to pull back on the number, but I know for a fact our mortality rate with the procedures that we do overseas are actually better than here in the United States.
You mentioned training doctors as one of the things. How many locations have you done that for?
There's 7 locations that we've sent teams over, and it's because they met the criteria, which is local Rotary Club that will help us support us. People to screen and buy the children and the support of the local government. So a lot of times we can't go into countries and have them have their doctors help their kids because we don't have the support of the government. And that support often just means getting supplies in and out smoothly. A lot of these places will send things over there and they just disappear. Okay.
How do you recruit surgeons?
They usually find us, we are so we're the, I mean, again, we're the #1 charity in the world helping these kids. So doctors, I get calls constantly, doctors, nurses who say, how can I help? It's an easy one. For us, it's almost, the issue is having enough missions that we can send people on. It's not an issue having teams to go. Thank you.
You know, that's a drill, and you just said this is the second one, and of course, four-way toast in the back, which as a 20-year Rotarian, you have very well memorized. All right, thank you so much, David. All right, well, everybody, please rise and join with me in the four-way test. And the things we think, say, and do, is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Meeting is adjourned.